talk about chopping my boobs off. Yes, so obviously I had invasive mammary cancer on the left side in my left breast, and I opted for a full bilateral double mastectomy, and I went through that procedure on December 19th of 2018, and it hurt a lot. I was 100% prepared for it to be a breeze for a few reasons. One, I already had a submuscular implant, so I didn't think I was going to have any issues with directly implanting a tissue expander into that already created pocket, because I am not eligible for the tissue reconstructions I'm doing an implant reconstruction. So implant reconstruction starts at the time of mastectomy, where they put an expander in the place of where, in my case, my previous implant had been. Most women who undergo this procedure report that that's the most uncomfortable thing about the whole part, is because they're actually lifting that pectoral muscle, which has laid flat against your chest wall for your whole life. They're lifting it and putting an implant underneath it, and most people report that that's what hurts the most. I thought I was going to be fine because I already had an implant under there, and this was going to be a smaller implant to start with. I also thought that I have a pretty good pain tolerance. I have tolerated several biopsies without much of an issue. I have a herniated disc in my back, and I was pretty certain there was no pain worse than that when that disc goes out. But I'm going to just tell you, mastectomy was worse. Probably because I was not fully prepared for it to hurt. In my mind, I was like, it's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt. I'm going to be fine. And I lied to myself and was not ready for it. I also hate opioids. I hate opioid painkillers. I hate them, hate them, hate them. My body and those things, we just don't agree. I can't do it. I can't tolerate them. So I told my doctors that I would like to try a pain management plan that did not include opioids. Don't do that. Don't do it. Just take the drugs. Just take the drugs because you need them. You can get off of them quickly. But that first 2 days, just take what they give you. Don't be me. Don't try to fall on your sword and be like, I'm strong. No, mastectomies hurt. Am I going to tell you it's the end of the world? It's not the end of the world, but it was really unpleasant. Waking up, I really didn't feel much, obviously, because waking up, you've still got all kinds of blocks and things going on. You're still half in and out of it. No big deal, really. It was a couple hours after surgery when they've stopped trying to give you the Dilaudid that the pain really got me. Unfortunately, in my case, what had happened, and part of the big reason I was in so much pain, was my left pectoral muscle spasmed over my tissue expander, and I just had a couple spots on a really pointed ridge of that expander that hurt a whole lot. A lot. So I actually ended up staying in the hospital for 2 nights instead of 1 for them to get my pain under control, and then I went home. And I was probably down for the first week after surgery pretty intensely. I needed help pretty much doing everything. Showering was not super fun. You can't raise your arms. Everything hurts. You would be super surprised how many things you use your pec muscles for. You use them when you sit up. There is no rolling over to your side or sitting up without somehow displacing or using your pec muscles. It's the worst. I don't know. I had never known that I was using them that much. Honestly, it was I never trained chest, so you use them a lot. Surprise. One of the issues I think that I had as a fitness person that you should probably watch out for if you are a fitness guru, have a lot of muscle, bodybuilder, something like that going through this, your body's gonna metabolize your pain meds a little faster than most people, which I think my doctors were not expecting with me because they see young, thin, blonde, okay, here's your pain dosages, you're good to go. Not the case for me. I was not getting any relief from my first pain plan at all. And once they finally got me on a pain management program that worked, my surgeon came in to check on me the next morning and said, I'm surprised to find you conscious because I looked at what all they gave you and I kind of thought that you would be out of it, like too loopy to have a conversation with me. And I was like sitting up in my bed already and I was like, I actually feel pretty good. I was like, I feel better now. It was so much better once they finally got me on a muscle relaxer, everything. I just needed some muscle relaxants and some actual pain meds that weren't just Tylenol. Like Tylenol, not gonna work, not gonna cut it for a mastectomy, just really isn't. So something I had not anticipated as well is the drains that they put in after surgery, especially if you're going into reconstruction afterwards. Your plastic surgeon will insert some drains. Pretty much if you've had a mastectomy, I know you're with me on this. They're the worst part. I hated them. They give you this little like thing that you hook around your neck or you can tie it around your waist and it has Velcro spots for your drains, but the drains are literally just coming out of the sides of you. I'll show you. We'll get a close-up in a minute. We'll cut to it. Like we'll cut to it right here. Show you my drains. That's where they were. So they're painful because they stitch them, just little tubes that are coming out of you and they're stitched in. And those stitches, man, if you move wrong, they just like pull on your skin and they yank and you have to strip them and drain them a couple times a day. And they are really just a pain. And I was ecstatic. I had mine in for 3 weeks and a day. Too long. I had them in for 3 weeks and a day. And when they finally came out, I was the happiest human being. I like did a dance. I was like, I can put my hands in the air again. Hallelujah. It still actually hurts a little bit because tissue expanders suck. But yeah, drains are the worst part after the surgery because you actually start feeling better and you still can't get your range of motion back because of those things. And they make showering and everything just a pain in the butt. And then if you go out in public, you've just got these drains hooked to you. So you're like trying to hide them and stick them in jackets and coats and they're bulky and they're just irritating to the max. Another thing to point out, I will specifically talk to people who are doing the tissue expander route because that's what I know. I don't know anything about the deep flaps or anything like that. I just know the tissue expanders are not fun. I have lovingly described mine as resembling the deflated footballs that Tom Brady would use to teach his kids to play with. When I came out of surgery, they're filled with air and they look like, mine literally looked like a little tiny football. It looked like a flattened football. One, because they actually have a seam down the middle of my chest now, down the middle of my breast because I did skin sparing and I don't have a nipple, so I just have stitches. So I even had the little seam across the football and it was shaped just like it. And I was like, well, that's cute. But after 2 weeks, I think I went back to my plastic surgeon, 2.5 weeks. I went to my plastic surgeon. They took the air out. Weirdest feeling on the face of the planet. Not going to say it hurt. It was just very uncomfortable, weird. It was like a vacuum seal or suction compression on your chest. It was weird. But as soon as they put the saline in, huge relief. The tissue expanders became way more comfortable for me once they got the saline in. And every week they've been like expanding me a little bit more. So I think I'm up to like 275 cc's of saline now. And fingers crossed, I'm like trying to wind up somewhere in the 500 range. So I might be like halfway there, which is, we'll see how it goes. Because I was like, if I have to lose my boobs to cancer, I'm going to get bigger fake ones. Duh, we've talked about this. I'm going bigger. So we're working on it. That's in the process. It's uncomfortable, but it really doesn't hurt. I've not noticed like the expansion process itself doesn't hurt. It's the healing part, the muscles, like relearning what they need to be doing. So yeah, that's basically what I have to say about everything after a mastectomy. It hurts. Take your pain pills. Wean yourself off. You will get much better with time. Things get easier. You'll bounce back. But be gentle with yourself because it is kind of weird waking up and looking at yourself because the doctors come in and let you see yourself as they check your incisions and make sure everything's good. It's a little weird. It's weird looking down that first time and being like, oh, my boobs are totally different than they were before. They're kind of gone. I actually wasn't as effective with it. I've read some stories of women who were just like really really affected by it, so just be gentle with yourself. I was like, oh, looky there. That's what I was expecting, and it actually looks better than I expected. So maybe that's it. Just go into this whole thing with the worst expectations ever, and it won't be that bad because I had really high expectations for myself, and I should have been kinder and gentler to myself. So that is my advice to you. Again, if you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments. If you don't feel like leaving them in the comments, find me on social media. I have my links below in the description section, and you can message me. I'm more than happy to talk to you about anything, any questions you have. So hope you've enjoyed this little segment, and I will be bringing more to you on my upcoming treatment plans and the fertility journey later on. Oh, you're still there? Okay, so if you like this video, you know what to do. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, again, leave them in the comments. Find me on social media. I would love to have a conversation with you and do my best to answer all of your crazy questions.